Chapter 7, the messenger mindset. What makes the millionaire messenger successful? What does it take to succeed in the expert industry? I've asked these questions at every Experts Academy event and on every interview I do on the topic. These are not easy questions to answer, and I highly encourage you to sit down and answer them for yourself. What do you think it will take to start out and win? It's taken years of interviewing industry legends and practicing what I've learned to answer these questions myself. What I've found, like so many before me, is that most success in life is an internal game. It's usually more about how you think, feel, and behave than the tools or resources you have at hand. Your psychology and practices are more important than anything, and that's why I've chosen to address them in this and the next chapter. I believe that successful experts have 4 dominant beliefs that allow them to consistently serve, share, work, and create. With these 4 beliefs running their mind and their lives, they are driven to make a real difference and build a real business. Without these 4 beliefs, would-be experts give up early, lose focus, fail, or worse, they never begin. Mindset 1. My life experience, message, and voice are valuable. Psychologists long ago discovered that a person's happiness, efficacy, and ability to be resilient and both emotionally and socially intelligent all hinge on a person's evaluation of their worth. In fact, many believe that self-worth is the foundation upon which we form most of our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Pioneers in the self-esteem movement, including leading theorist Nathaniel Branden, tell us that self-worth is the key to understanding and cultivating self-esteem and success in life. It's a proven equation in psychology. The more you feel worthy, the more you feel capable and confident. The same, of course, is true in our industry. If you do not value who you are and what you have to say, your life experience, message, and voice, then you will never have a shot at feeling or becoming confident and successful as an expert. If you don't value your voice, who will? I could write volumes on how many great people have let their great advice for others die quietly in a journal somewhere because they thought, well, who on earth cares what I think? Or worse, who am I to share what I think with others? I know of no greater indicator of low self-esteem and self-worth than the phrase, who am I to? This is not to say that all millionaire messengers always have rock-solid self-esteem or profoundly positive senses of self or ego. In fact, I've met many experts who actually lack the personal self-confidence you would think they have. But here's what makes them different from others. They have a hunger to share and serve. And it's that hunger, a deep down psychological need and desire to share and serve others with what they know, that forms the expert's belief that their message and voice is valuable. Where does that hunger come from? You might be surprised by the answer. Many observers of our community believe that the gurus all have a massive ego that drives them. Surely they share their message to become rich, rewarded, and recognized, right? It is interesting that many unsuccessful or jealous people think that of others who are more successful, no matter the industry. But after dozens of interviews and a few years atop this industry, I can share this. The messenger's hunger to share their message does not come from ego. It comes from obligation. Yes, obligation. While most people consider the word obligation to be a negative word, I used to as well, it's incredible how many gurus use the word in a positive manner. They say, well, I experienced this big struggle or this traumatic event, and I consider the lessons I learned such a gift that I feel it's my obligation to share those lessons with others. Experts often use the phrase moral obligation or calling to describe this drive. I can relate. At a very deep level, I feel that I was given a gift with life's golden ticket, my second chance at life, and that sharing what I learned is my duty, a calling, an obligation. I value my life experience, my message, and my voice because I believe these things to have been a gift to me. And if God in the universe valued the experiences I have had in my life enough to have given them to me, then I value them enough to pass them on to others. Many of my clients feel the same way. A grief coach I know says she chose to be a coach because she met so many other people who were struggling with how to cope with the loss of their loved ones that she felt the moral obligation to counsel them through the experience. A best-selling author told me that he started workshops for new writers because it took him 10 years of begging agents and publishers to get published, and he didn't want anyone else to have to go through that. A personal finance advisor says he went bankrupt as a young man and spent a decade trying to clean up his credit, and he couldn't stand the thought of others getting calls from those bastards at the collection agencies. A mother said her whole family wept thousands of tears as they painfully cared for their autistic child, and that there needed to be more education for parents like her. She said she felt a light go on one day when we finally figured it out. I must tell other moms that they don't have to hate themselves or their children anymore because there's a better way to parent autistic children. I imagine that what you have been through in life has taught you a lot. The good times and the bad are important, and the lessons you have learned from both are profoundly valuable. There's no question that life has not always been easy for you, and I bet you have not always been clear on why you have had to endure the hardships and why you struggle so much for the successes. But let me make the same claim those who believe in mentorship have claimed for decades. If you have learned valuable lessons in life or business, then it's your obligation to share that with others so they do not have to go through the same drama, struggle, or miles traveled to figure it out. If you believe that, then it's all a matter of you're following the steps I've laid out for you so far. It's time for you to act. You are going to change a lot of people's lives. Expert signposts. 1. One reason I have not been sharing my life lessons more with others is because 2. If a friend of mine used an excuse like that reason, I would say to them 3. The times in my life when I've held back my voice have been times like 4. The times in my life when I spoke up and helped others include mindset number 2. If I don't know it or have it, I will go learn it or create it. Never doubt a person with a calling or moral obligation. They will find a way to share their message. That dedication is ingrained in the minds of every millionaire messenger I know. Regardless of what they don't know or don't have, they will find a way to share their message. I never knew how critical this belief was in my life until I started marketing Experts Academy. As any good marketer does, I always listen for the objections and concerns my customers have that prevent them from purchasing my products and services. Remember, my Experts Academy is focused exclusively on authors, speakers, seminar leaders, coaches, and online marketers. To my utter surprise and disbelief, the strong objections people had about starting an expert empire included things like the following. But I don't know how to write a book. But I don't have an agent. But I don't know how to get hired as a speaker. But I don't have a demo DVD of me speaking. But I don't know how to conduct a seminar. But I don't have an event planner to help me. But I don't know how to get clients as a coach. But I don't have any coaching materials. But I don't know how to start and market my materials online. But I don't have a website. Well, when I tell you I was shocked at hearing these objections, I truly mean it. I would read people's emails and blog comments seeing these types of statements and think, what is wrong with these people? 1, that's what I'm offering to teach them. But 2, no one knows or has these things to start with. They just figure it out and go. And thus began my great education on why many of the top entrepreneurial experts are so different. It turns out that we have a dominant belief that allows us to get ahead. That belief is that no matter what we know or have, we will start, struggle through, experiment, work hard, and learn or create whatever we must to get our message out there. Empowered by this knowledge, I can now sit with someone for 10 minutes and know their fate as an expert and entrepreneur. If at any point they whine, well, I don't know this or I don't have that, then I know they will fail. It's not that they're saying they don't know or have what they need. It's often how they say it. If they sound weak, defeated, or disempowered, then I immediately know they don't stand a chance in this business. I also know, just by their tone, a lot about their lives. Here's another powerful distinction I've learned. If you have ever looked at a successful person and you say, well, sure, they could do it, but I can't, then you are on the road to ruin. You see, successful people had to start one day just like anyone else. If you have a mindset that says successful people are blessed by the gods, you're luckier or more privileged than you are, then you are doomed. Instead, you might say, well, that person achieved this, so then I can too. I just have to model what they and others have done and follow in their lead. Expert signposts. 1. The things I'll have to go learn to succeed in this new expert endeavor include 2. The things I'll have to create in order to start include 3. The people I can model and follow to shorten my learning curve include 4. The excuses that I'll probably make along the way that I'll have to overcome include mindset number 3. I will not let my small business make me small-minded. It's tough to start a new business venture in this industry or any other. I like to tell entrepreneurs to prepare for the fact that the first 2 years in any business are scary, risky, draining, and frustrating. Seriously, the first 2 years running your own business can be both horrible and the most exhilarating and fulfilling time in your life. You hope to quickly make it big, but results almost always come more slowly than you anticipated. Still, you find the challenge, freedom, ownership, and connection with your customers remarkably meaningful. I share this because it's always the first 2 years that stop newbies in our industry. They start out excited to share their message, but because the results come in slowly, they give up their vision. It's easy to stop when your vision is not immediately matched by your bank account. It's easy to stop and play small in life when you're not earning income at the rate and levels you had hoped for. But I have a message for you. Never let your small business make you small-minded. Don't give up on your vision or play small just because you're starting out. I remember how critical this belief was to me when I was just starting in this industry. I still see myself sitting in a tiny apartment in San Francisco, broke because every dollar I had was going to rent and cheap burritos. I was writing on a tiny 3-legged fold-out table my mom used to use in our sewing room. I vividly recall a moment sitting there looking at my outdated laptop gather condensation on the screen as the broken radiator hissed out steam to warm the apartment. I was drafting a newsletter on the psychology of success to be emailed to my unsuspecting friends, coworkers, and acquaintances. And I thought, who am I fooling? Who cares what a poor, goofy kid has to say about success? I also remember what my next thought was. I said, Brendan, yes, you are starting out small, kid. Everyone has to. But you have a powerful message, and you need to share it with others. You've studied this. You've learned a lot in life, and you can inspire others. You're going to help millions of people someday. Today is the day. You just keep working at it. You're bigger than this stupid apartment because your dreams have no boundaries. To many, this might sound like a hokey story, but it is important. You need to have a grand vision for yourself and your message despite your present circumstances that will propel you into action and achievement. Never forget that all good results come slowly. While you're waiting for the big break to come, just keep in mind how important your work is and how many you will serve one day. Even if you feel tethered to the ground of your current reality, set your sights high. Believe in your potential and grand destiny for yourself. It will make those first steps more confident and sustain you when you stumble. I was inspired to believe this by Marianne Williamson, who has spoken at my events. Marianne is one of the greatest writers and teachers in our community. Her most famous quote from her book, A Return to Love, says it all. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Expert signposts. 1. A grand vision I have for myself in this industry is to 2. When times are tough, I will always remind myself that 3. To ensure I don't play small in life or in this business, I will 4. To play a bigger game, I'm going to have to let go of Mindset 4. Student first, teacher second, servant always. Every expert I've ever met believes they are a student and a seeker at heart. They talk about all the books they read, and they seem to research hours on end, attend seminars, listen to tapes and CDs, and interview people. They pride themselves on their ability to learn and synthesize really good ideas that help people improve their lives or grow their businesses. Though they might not have an advanced degree, they are world-class students of life. I think this is an important belief because many people who have given the word expert a bad name have done so by thinking they are the one and only expert. These people, who I wouldn't even call experts, operate by ego versus calling, and they think they've figured everything out. They play a big game of positioning themselves as the authority on a matter, more for personal pride and gain than to serve. They stop learning, they stop collaborating with other communities of experts, and they ultimately lose touch with current best practices, and some might say reality. To avoid this outcome, it's important that you always heed our mantra at Experts Academy. Experts are students first, teachers second, servants always. If you have not read at least 6 books in the last 6 months on your topic of expertise, then you're not minding our mantra. If you've not tried to interview at least 10 people on your topic this year, then you are not minding our mantra. If you are not actively scouring the internet, researching journals, magazines, and bookshelves for information on your topic, then you are not minding our mantra. You are failing to be a student first. From this day forward, you must commit yourself to more discipline and consistent study and mastery of your topic. It's time to make your life your own personal learning lab. You should start taking notes on little interactions you have as well as the big breakthroughs. Look for lessons in every moment and every relationship and record them in a journal. I remember learning the value of this from my journalism teacher in high school. Decades later, I would see it in practice with my friends Tony Robbins and Jack Canfield, 2 of the most diligent and productive note takers I've ever met in my life. Millionaire messengers have this interesting psychology where they think of themselves as both student and teacher. They adopt the identity of world-class trainers. Like great educators, they are constantly trying to create strong and catchy teaching points, metaphors, frameworks, activities, and lesson plans that can help their students succeed. They carry around journals and take notes on what they see and learn about life that can empower others. To them, writing down new lessons and practicing new ways of teaching age-old wisdom is both a game and a career. Personally, I'm almost obsessive about the practice of journaling new lessons to teach my audience. Every book I buy has countless notes in the margins reminding me of important concepts I can teach or make my own. I take copious notes at every seminar I attend and always look for a unique teachable point of view. The identity of a teacher is a huge part of who I've decided to be in life. Ask anyone about me and they'll tell you I'm always writing down new ideas and practicing new frameworks. Becoming an expert is not a one-time affair, it's a lifelong practice. Finally, this all leads back to being a servant. It's almost impossible to dedicate yourself to a life of learning and teaching unless you have a reason to learn and teach. For most, that reason is to help others solve their problems and achieve their potential. It's incredibly important to stay connected to that reason you are doing this work. In times of stress or frustration, your ultimate why for doing things is often the only thing that keeps you going. Expert signposts. To feel more like a student in life, I would have to 2. My plan for learning more about my topic is to 3. My plan for capturing everyday life lessons that I can teach others is to start 4. The reason I feel I should be learning all this and teaching what I know is mindset number 5. Mastery is a way of life. There are 2 types of people in the world. Both are blessed to enter a wide open, grand, green field of opportunity under which lie vast treasures. One person looks around the field, grabs any shovel they can, and begins digging a hole in the ground looking for gold. When this person gets a few shovels deep and discovers either A, they are not hitting gold as fast as they thought they would, or B, there is not as much gold as they thought, they stop digging and move on to another random point in the field. They grab a new fancy shovel or tool and they dig again looking for gold. Again, they find disappointment, so they move on and on and on. At the end of this person's life, their field of opportunity looks like a bunch of half-dug holes. The other person, however, approaches the field of opportunity differently. They scan the horizon and decide where they would like to stake their claim in life. They too begin digging down looking for gold. They too may quickly discover either A, they are not hitting gold as fast as they thought they would, or B, there is not as much gold as they thought. But here is where their fate unfolds differently than their unfocused peers. They keep digging. They think to themselves, there's some gold here, maybe not as much as I thought as early on as I thought, but there is gold. They keep digging, working hard, staying focused. And soon enough, they hit the big payday, that vein of gold that is more abundant and awe-inspiring than they ever imagined. They set a foundation there, a fence post of fortune, if you will. And then they move to another spot, aligned with their previous success, and they dig deep again, setting up another foundation and fence post of wealth. At the end of this person's life, their field of opportunity looks like a long line of strong foundations stretching into the sunset. I often share this allegory at Experts Academy to remind people that a life of dabbling in dozens of topics or businesses often leads to failure, while a life of mastery leads to wealth. In our industry, it's tempting to be the everything under the sun expert, the person who knows about everything and does everything. That's why so many would-be experts fail. They get distracted. They start things in half measures and they give up too early and move on to new things and a new opportunity too quickly. Those who succeed, though, are those who choose to explore and master their topics deeply. They focus on one opportunity at a time and dig deep, working for years to create a strong foundation. They understand the value of hard work, and they're not afraid of blood, sweat, and tears in mining a worthwhile opportunity. They believe, often more than anyone else around them, that life of dabbling is a life of distraction, and a life of mastery is a life of meaning. This emphasis on mastery allows you to stay focused, overcome hardships, become a true expert in your field, and run a real business built on hard work and dedication. Expert signposts. 1. The topic area I'm going to focus on like a laser for the next 18 months is 2. The things I'm going to stop focusing on right now are 3. The times when I lose my focus and fall off the path to mastery are usually when 4. If in 12 months I look back at my last year, I would know I had stayed on the path to mastery if I could see that I had accomplished these things.